Hello, today is February 4th, 2020. Trading is closed. We'll go over our calls. Look for the pattern with the early low. This is it. We said that unless we gapped over this high, lower prices should print. We gapped over the high. We said over the weekend that this was a hole in the wall. A gap tends to fill promptly, typically the next day or the following day's open. Looked pretty unlikely when I made the video because we were down here, but we did gap up and did fill in the most common time. And we said if this were an ending diagonal triangle, that the target was to retrace all of it, usually pretty promptly. And unlikely as it seemed at Friday's close, that's what we did. Here we got a sell signal in the afternoon. That meant this rally was false, wouldn't stick, would retrace. But the target printed immediately. We didn't have to go lower as we did. But early on, MEJT gave ultimate buys and ultimate sells in the same pattern. Usually you don't rally like this. Usually you go nowhere. And if you look at the quote, really didn't get too far. But even though he satisfied the ultimate buy, we have an ultimate sell with a minimum target. Usually we get more than the minimum of 32.89.84. It doesn't have to print tomorrow, but usually you don't have to wait long. Usually and always aren't the same thing. Here's what we said. Unless the high of day falls promptly, lower prices should print, and it fell promptly. We still have this spike in volume. Tends to be associated with market lows, but doesn't mean you're going to go up every day. Argues against the collapse here. We have rallied right to this blue trend line resistance that we've shown quite a few times. Typically you gap over the line or the line wins. Here's the bullish pattern we identified over the weekend. Typically you go over this line by as much as you went under it. Still think it looks like a bit of a stretch to me, but that's what the methodology says. We have a possible wave count. We have 5 waves down for A, not the only count. Possible ABC. It's possible to count this as A, B, C, D, E for an ending diagonal triangle, but even though it's a valid count, I think it takes a little imagination. Not certain it's true. If it is true, we'll undercut this low, probably pretty fast. But I'm just not convinced this wave's over. It could be, Not saying it isn't. Well, Wednesday's pattern has the early high. Typically it's a rally day with a high near the close. Failure is a straight line drop. After gapping up and hitting higher highs, we closed under all of them. NASDAQ hit a new high, other indices didn't. It's a Dow theory non-confirmation. We have a lower target. We could have completed 3 waves up with a possible ending diagonal triangle. In spite of the normally bullish pattern, all this is pretty negative stuff. It gets invalidated if we gap and promptly take out the high, and that's what bulls need to do to avoid seeing lower prices. Doesn't guarantee a little lower close, but remember the failure of the normal patterns is straight line drops, so it's a time for caution if we don't clear this high early. Thursday, be certain to watch both videos we're going to have. One features me, one features a guest analyst with his own methodology. I think you'll really enjoy it. He's a real pro. Tomorrow we want the pattern with the early high. Usually it's a rally day. Failure is a straight line drop. It should be obvious early on which is going to happen. That's today's call.